Okay, this is part 2 of the So You Want to Play Industrial Music Live video series. So this part is about, first of all, preparing for the live show, and I'm also going to touch on booking and promoting your shows. So, first things first. You want to be well rehearsed. Practice as much as you can. Practice with your bandmates as much as you can. Be so well rehearsed that you're comfortable playing the songs live, and you can, do your perform and do your thing live, and so there's no fuck ups or anything like that. Make sure you're comfortable performing live. Of course, sometimes fuck ups do happen, but as long as you're well rehearsed enough, you can recover from that quite quickly during the live set, and it won't be an issue. So the next thing I want to talk on is booking shows. So when you're starting out, when you're first starting out doing shows and stuff, you're probably going to end up playing shitty ass dive venues and stuff like that, and that's okay. Like, you got to start somewhere, right? You can't exactly play like, oh, I'm gonna fucking play stadiums all of a sudden. You don't. Bands don't fucking do that, or the majority of bands don't end up doing that. When you're trying to book a show, send off an email or even call the venue. Call the local dive venue that may host your kind of music, or hosting industrial type music. Send them an email just asking if there's a chance that you could play in the near future, and you'd like to set up a show and stuff like that. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll add you to a bill that's already created, so you're like the opener for a couple of other bands. Or if it's in my case, I typically create my own shows, so I typically book all the bands that play my shows. So or generally I do, not all the time. I've had other people promote shows for me, and I've had co-promoters and stuff like that, and I've worked with other bands who promoted their own shows and stuff, and open for other bands. Email your local dive venue, get in there, play out as much as you can that's reasonable for your location. Like here where I live here in Calgary, playing more than 2 shows a month is risky for bands and for venues and stuff, because the scene here, despite us having one of the only festivals of its dark industrial gothy festival of its kind in Canada, the local scene is still fairly small, and the scene can't really support having more than a show a month, maybe 2 shows a month, but that's really stretching it. So it all depends on your location, your city, your town, wherever you're at. Like, maybe Vancouver, you could pull off 2 shows or more a month. Maybe out east, you might have been able to do that. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Like in Toronto or Ottawa or London or something like that. But sometimes also, maybe you're not getting booked, or maybe no venue's picking you up because it's too much of a risk to have you, or any kind of industrial-ish bands or gothy bands play out. So Normally venues are very forgiving, so they'll give you that chance, but or at least smaller divish venues. But if for some reason you can't book a show at a venue, I would suggest either renting a space, an art space, or some kind of performance space, and hosting your own show. But you know, if you're gonna have alcohol and stuff, you may need a license for that, so, or a permit or whatever it is. So I'm not gonna get into those details because I don't know those details. But you know, you can still have a cool event without that stuff, like without the alcohol and stuff. Like maybe you have soft drinks or coffee or something like that, or whatever, right? So, or your patrons could drink out in the alley or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to influence you or anything in that direction, but that is always an option. Probably not a good option depending on where you live, but you know, whatever. It might be a fun option. So, so renting a space or even house shows. Like we haven't done any house shows, but it's something that we're looking to do if there's if it's, you know, if those kind of shows become available, just because we haven't done it before, and I think it'd be kind of cool to be in a more intimate environment. And that's one thing about house shows, is that they're a little bit more intimate, because obviously the space to play is a little bit smaller, and you're playing in someone's living room or fucking basement or whatever it is. But that is also an option, house shows. Obviously, if you start drawing crowds and stuff, you have some leverage as far as you know, getting into larger venues or whatever. So like if you're playing house shows or dive venues or whatever it is, and the crowd starts growing, you know, obviously you'll have leverage for other venues. Like it's, you know, you'll be able to say, hey, we can fill a, you know, 40-50 person, we can get 40 or 50 people in this venue. You know, we want to play here, and you know, our shows generally draw this number of people for our crowd and stuff. So, you know, there's that. And I'm going to get into the promotion side a little bit. So in the last video, I kind of touched on it a little bit. I did say that it is more of a individual, it's based on individuals. So it's like, you know, what one promoter does for one show may not work for their next show, and you know, that is, it's also individual based. So like, you know, if I'm promoting shows a certain way, it doesn't mean it's gonna work the same way for somebody else. So, you know, we've done posters, we've done handbills or flyers, whatever you want to call them. We've even done things like, you know, we've done some giveaways at the show. We've also done some things like having on the flyer, you know, if you show up with the flyer or the handbill at the show, you get like $2 off the door cover or whatever it is. And we even did, well, our last show, the last show we did was Valentine's Day, and unfortunately the show didn't do very well. And but this is, I mean, you know, maybe this didn't work for us, but maybe it could work for somebody else. I don't know. I mean, it didn't work here in Calgary, but what we did was, if you would come with a heart attached to your clothing or on your clothing, or a heart on your shirt or your jacket, whatever, you know, you got in for $5 rather than $8 or whatever. And, you know, some people showed up with hearts and stuff like that. You know, the show didn't do very well, and you know, I think, you know, it's what I can really relate to you, at least for me, for Twitch, is that and in Calgary, I would say, is that for Valentine's Day, no one's really interested in our scene to go out to an industrial show. So, you know, maybe we could have done something a little different and, you know, make it some kind of love show or something, but, you know, I don't know, it didn't work out that way, so, for us, so, that was a failure, but lesson learned, probably never gonna do a Valentine's show again, but, you know, there's all sorts of things you can do. What I'm trying to get across is there's all sorts of things you can do, and, you know, what I want to articulate to you is that, you know, sometimes your shows are gonna fail, and there's nothing wrong with that. What the key thing to take away from your failures is that you're learning from those experiences, and you're going, okay, this didn't work, I'm gonna try something different next time, or this did work, maybe let's try this for the next show, and, you know, if it works again, hey, let's try it again, or if it works again, and maybe it's like, well, we've kind of milked this idea, let's try something different. You know, you gotta keep trying different things, and there's all sorts of things you can do. Giveaways, you know, that encourages people to come through the door. You know, doing all kinds of fun things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. Your shows don't necessarily have to be, you know, just bands. You could have DJs. You could have other types of performances. You know, a mixture of bands and DJ and other performances or whatever it is. So, yeah, I think I've got that across, what I was trying to say, as far as this video goes. You know, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you will, please leave a comment. You know, if you have some failures and successes you want to share, please write them and post them in the comment section for this video. You know, if you feel this video is valuable and other people should know about this, then please share it. And if you like what's on my channel, our channel, please subscribe. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.